Welcome back to another video. In game number 1, I'm going to show you exactly how easy it is to piss off most of the people in this game. We started off by cheesing level 1 to take Shyvana's red buff. Why? Why not? After taking the red buff, I snuck into the brush in the bot lane, attempting to cheese the enemy ADC as well. But for some reason, our ADC decided to chase after the enemy bot lane 2v1 into the river, which just serves no purpose at all. If they want to roam to help a level 3 Shyvana, let them. Stay in the bot lane, get a lead. Ultimately, I didn't realize she used her flash. I wasn't looking, and she ends up dying. She responds negatively, blaming me for her death, when really she shares a bigger blame in her death than me. So I tell her, this isn't gonna work. I'm gonna start roaming. She's happy with it. I'm happy with it, and we head to the top lane. It really didn't take long for us to have an impact on this top lane. As soon as we got there, we committed our summoner spells and killed Fiora, and then I tried to stop her from getting to lane as well. I know I wouldn't kill her, but I can create some damage and then let her think that I'm still in that brush, and then I rotate all the way around into the top brush to start cheesing her once again. We managed to kill the Fiora once again. So she was winning the lane and now she's losing. So we've pissed off the Fiora, we've pissed off the ADC, we've pissed off the Shyvana, and now with the enemy support ganking mid lane, we've also pissed off the Set, because in his mind, there is a support difference happening right now. Luckily for the Set, I was on my way back to the bot lane and it allowed me to pivot to help him in our jungle. This nets us 2 kills on the Nidalee, which is a big deal because the Shyvana is behind. I then head back into the bot lane, into the exact same brush I was trying to cheese at level 1, and it's successful. I'm sure we all agree that this probably would have been the exact outcome if the Kaiser had just sat in lane instead of roaming to that river. Out of nowhere, a wild Fiora appears in the bot lane. This could only mean one thing, that she has given up on the top lane. She's 0-3, we've tilted the living crap out of her, and she doesn't want to go to her lane anymore. Sadly, we go a little too aggressive and the Shyvana manages to punish us, which catches her back up into this game. I also pass the kill off to the Fiora, because presuming she keeps griefing, I want her to have gold that Riven can take. The Set was dying on repeat over and over, and this was drawing a lot of attention to the bot lane. I see the enemy bot lane rotating to help them, and I hide in the brush to catch them off guard. Once again, we pick up the kill onto the Zeri, and now that we've dealt with the enemy bot lane, we can turn our full attention to this fight. We end up cleaning everyone up, getting 3 kills onto Nidalee, but on the flip side, we handed a lot of gold over to crucial members on the enemy team. The scoreline, it's now dead even. Our team kept handing over kills one by one. Most of it was the Set, just pointless deaths, you know, and they slowly caught up and they have the better scaling team. So now the score's 17-18 and our team is already trying to forfeit. Fast forwarding through this game, a few of our members died and they managed to force the Baron and got it completely for free. Unfortunately, the massive gold lead we got on the top lane, it never entered the team fights because we never had one. Riven just kept splitting and the game ended so soon after that. So that means game number 1 is a loss. We lose 20 LP and we move on to game number 2, where we're playing Sion support. For real this time, we're actually playing Sion support. And believe it or not, it is broken. I've kept this from you for a while now. It's been quite broken since Phreak did the changes to Sion's W. I didn't want to mention it because I just want to have fun with it, but think of it this way. Phreak buffed the W so it does a lot of damage now, right? The problem with the W is that it's quite easy to pop in the top lane. However, if you're in the bot lane, you can hide in the brushes, you can then activate your Aftershock, and once you have the Aftershock proc, they can't blow up the W. So you get early trades that greatly benefit you, plus you have a shit ton of CC. Look how easy it is to chain it with the ADC. You're gonna see it a few times in the games throughout today. It is insanely versatile as well. So if the play doesn't go well, you've got your passive to fix it. If the lane doesn't go well, you can just roam. You saw that in the previous game. I ditched the lane and I did something else. There's so many different options, and for me personally, I also have the option of going double jungle. If the comp isn't what I want, I can just do double jungle and just completely change the playstyle. So it is very versatile and it's very efficient. If you have a great ADC, you can do some crazy stuff. Now, focusing back on this game, you might have noticed that I don't actually have Aftershock. This was a mistake. I was potentially going to go double jungle, then we swapped. So these are the wrong runes. You're not going to see its full potential until the next game. Despite this, we still had an extremely strong showing. The Glacial, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's still quite good. Before the buffs that Phreak did, I was using Glacial anyway. The only reason Aftershock is better now is because of the W buff. So Glacial, not the end of the world. And this matchup, we were completely dumpstering them anyway, so it didn't necessarily affect it. The problem we really were facing is that Lilia constantly ganked the bot lane and I refused to drop wards. We had them against the ropes the entire time, and honestly, we can 2v3 them as well, so I don't even mind the fact that Lilia is coming to lane. It just wasn't syncing up the way we wanted it to. Not yet, anyway. Once we finished getting all the platings, we rotated to the mid lane. Overall, we got 5 kills and 3 deaths as a duo in the bot lane. Considering how much we got ganked and we never got a gank from our own jungle, I'd say that's a fairly positive result. Just because we went to the mid lane, it didn't mean that Lilia was done with us. She ended up ganking us again, and the Draven went down. That's the problem with aggression, you know? Like, once we're pushing past the wave, it's quite easy for her to punish us. Not to say that I think he should play more passive. What he's doing is fine. Eventually, we end up getting the kills cleaned up with this Echo. Skipping ahead 4 minutes, the game state is heavily in our favor. We have 18 kills to the enemy's 9. The problem we're facing now is that the enemy team is starting to group. So they have their top laner grouping and ours is just split pushing. Is that an issue right this second? No, it's not. With the Zed split pushing, it's quite good for us. He's still got the tier 2 towers to get. These are worth a lot of gold. So him split pushing and us holding the line, which is what we're doing, is really good for our team. We're going to get as much gold as possible because we're just scraping through in these team fights. The problem is right here. 18, 19 minutes into the game. Look at Zed. He's split pushing, but there's no tier 2s anymore. He's not doing it to get any gold. He's just doing it for the sake of doing it. Keep in mind, he's been splitting this whole game. He's got a massive gold lead. We've given up our lead to help him get further ahead, and now he's being selfish and just split pushing. Our team is starting to get frustrated. They put up the surrender vote even though we're crushing. That's the first sign that things are about to fall apart. So I start telling the Zed, now's the time to group. He's got a gold lead, an experience lead, a farm lead. What more does he need? And he returns to us calling us crap. Every single lane won this game and he doesn't want to group and he's calling us crap. I pretty much just said, I'm going to force this next team fight. If you're not there, you're probably not going to win a yellow. The response is pretty harsh and direct, but honestly, I was getting flashbacks of last game because this exact thing happened where the team was surrendering with the lead and then you have a split pusher with all the gold on them who refuses to group. Same thing. We ended up forcing that Baron. It was successful and we used it to push through and open up the base. This game went on for significantly longer than I'm going to show you. They have a very good team fight between Mundo and Lilia. They can stall out the fights for ages. We eventually made it all the way to the Elder Drake and that's what finally gave us enough power to push through and end the game. We got every single structure and then we claimed our glorious LP plus 20. We're back up to 399 LP. This leads us into game number 3. We're in the bot lane, and this time we actually took Aftershock. So we're playing Sion support once again, and this is a very common matchup. People tend to pick the Rel into Sion quite often. It is relatively difficult because she has so many abilities to cancel my Q. But one of the biggest weaknesses of the Rel is once she engages, she gets a movement speed debuff, whereas once we die, our passive gets a movement speed enhance. So we can easily catch up and trade 1-for-1 with the Rels. After the scuffle in the bot lane, Ezreal started hard pushing the wave, attempting to reset. Lee Sin does a full red clear and then immediately ganks the bot lane. That was a kill. Well, we did a massive turnaround, got 2 kills, and the best part about all that is while Lee Sin's dicking around in the bot lane wasting his summoner spells, our jungler is free farming and has the ability to go over and steal his camps. That's the risk that many junglers face when they come to gank the Sion bot lane, because it happens frequently. We're always pushing, we're always fighting, they think it's an easy kill, but sometimes we can fight back with our passive, and if they die, they're in a terrible, terrible spot. Kha'Zix does a full clear, he's level 4, and he enters the bot lane into a lane that has no summoner spells because we've been so actively fighting. He easily cleans up and gets a double kill. Now, when you compare the Lee Sin to the Kha'Zix, it's not even close. Kha'Zix scales harder and he's super far ahead. So I started investing my time into trying to further slow down this Lee Sin. I do this fairly frequently where once I get one lane ahead, I try my best to roam and get another one ahead. It's a lot easier to win a game if multiple lanes are doing well. So in this case, we have our mid laner and our jungle doing good. Our bot lane should be doing well, but if I'm being honest, at this point, I've already realized the Ezreal, he isn't landing many Qs. There's something not right about this Ezreal. It's not all bad though, because clearly the mid laner, he's doing quite well. Here I am just doing my job, clearing some red wards, and out of nowhere, I get stormed by the entire enemy team. I'm not sure why. Every game we played today, the enemy top laner gets mad and roams to the bot lane. He's 0-3. It seems to be 0-3. That's the mark when they give up and have to roam. Either way, the joke's on me. They do get a kill, but now they're in this very awkward position, trapped between our tier 2 and tier 3 towers. The state of the bot lane is in a decent position, so I head towards the Void Grubs at 11 minutes and 30 seconds. I set up full vision for our team, knowing that there's going to be a fight here, or at least give us some protection in case Lee Sin tries to steal it. As expected, a couple seconds later, the enemy team rotates into the pit to check if we have started the Grubs because we've cleared all the vision. The enemy team commits everything, including the Syndra ult, to kill the Kha'Zix, which is unfortunate, but it doesn't really matter too much because we end up killing the Lee Sin as he came to check it once again. This right here is the moment that we should just all go to these Void Grubs and take them. But for some reason, our Fed top laner and Fed mid laner just didn't decide to do that. Jason's up dying under the tower for no reason, and now we're in this awkward position where our mid laner is recalling with full HP instead of taking the Void Grubs. We already have 3 of them. This would be 6, we would have 2 Voidlings each hitting the tower. It's a big deal, damn it. Anyway, he ends up recalling without pinging his teleport, so our Kha'Zix, instead of pathing to the Void Grubs, now goes to his bot side jungle. I'm attempting to force a team fight so that we can quickly head over and pick it up, but of course, by the time we arrive, it has despawned. This is such a big mistake. So I spent 3 minutes around the Void Grubs attempting to force our team to get them, and no one did anything. Luckily for our team, that was the only objective we didn't go for. We secured the Infernal Drake, which got us a fight, led into a free Baron, and now we just run straight down the mid lane. The new champion, Aurora, uses her ultimate, which is very similar to a Camille ult, just a much larger scale. So anyone in that circle cannot leave it. And you can only imagine how effective this is for closing out games. This allows us to walk straight through their base and end the game. We gain 20 more LP. Now we're sitting at 419. We are one game away from Grandmaster. Game number 4 is a fun one. We're up against a Skarner support. Both of us are trying to achieve very similar things. The one thing that we have over the Skarner is that at level 1, we have a lot more pressure. So what I do is I walk into the wave and force the Xayah back. Once the Q lands, we get Aftershock and Xayah can't attack the wave. This means by default, we get lane pressure and the wave pushing forward. But if you've been paying close attention to the previous games, every single time the wave pushes forward, what ends up happening? We get ganked at level 2. You'd think I would start anticipating this and put the ward down, but it really just doesn't matter to me because we have our passive. And a lot of the time we can use it to make the situation profitable like this. We walk to lane and you see this wave state. It is perfectly frozen. We hold it, jump in the brush, and end up sitting in this brush for over 40 seconds while Xayah can't farm. Eventually, Skarner's forced to make a play, and he doesn't know I'm in there 100% because everyone's afraid to check the brush into a Sion. I've got the Hex Flash. If they come anywhere close, I am getting a knock-up and they have no summoner spells because we played so aggressive in those early levels. Something to note about this game is the Lee Sin is an ADC main. He's completely off role, so he had all that time free farming, and realistically, it's not going to help us too much. He kind of baits us into this, and it happens a couple times this game. It's not the worst. We do get the teleport down from the Orianna, so Syndra is going to be ahead. It is a little bit unfortunate. He does this thing where once you're autofill, they tend to camp the lane that they main. It's just instinct. For example, when I started playing jungle, I would always gank top until I realized, why gank top? You're never going to win if you get top ahead, so you may as well just not do that. Now I'm going to leave you with the highlight reel of Lee Sin this game. Sadly, there was a lot more mistakes than just that. I will admit though, I made a lot as well, although I feel like his plays were rubbing off on me. This was mainly the Skarner show this game, with a tiny bit of Sion action sprinkled in like this moment. Anyway, let's get through this game. We are now deep in the mid game, and Syndra is a big part of our damage. She ends up trying to split push, a greedy split push for farm, and gets caught. I decided to be a smuck and try and help her. I die. This opens up the Baron for the enemy team. Lee Sin hides in the brush and catches out the Orianna. It doesn't really work. However, our Alawi is massive. She goes in and does the 1v4, leads into us getting a Baron, and then right after we are pushing top lane, and she does it again. The Alawi is going for the 1v4. It was a close game up until Alawi decided to just flex on everybody. As soon as that happened, we ran through their base, opened up the inhibs, and the game, it was quickly over. If we wanted to, we could stop right now to secure the Grandmaster, but we ain't afraid. We're gonna keep going. So on to the 5th game, where we're versing our favorite champion in the world, Gwen. For those who are unaware, this is a unwinnable matchup for Sion. Usually I permaban Gwen, but I was testing out some new runes for Sion in the top lane. It mostly revolves around the mana flow band. So instead of biscuits, we take mana flow. This gives us significantly more mana, which you're gonna need if you want to take advantage of that W buff that happened, because it's a very costly spell. And I was hoping that the combination between Scorch, Mana Flow, the buff W, and Ignite, that Sion might be able to handle Gwen in the early laning phase. Boy, was I wrong. I did what I always do when I hard lose a lane. I decide, fuck top lane. Let's go punish bot lane. Before this gank, we had absolutely nothing going for us. The enemy had 5 kills and we had 0. The best thing happened though, as I walked to the top lane, I looked down to the bot, and what do you know? Our bot is 2v2ing by themselves. They get a double kill. So it feels like we made the right choice. If you know there's no way you can carry your lane, you better damn well find someone who can. So in this game, we know who the carry is going to be. Let's invest every single thing we have into getting him gold and pray. That's 100% the mentality that I had this game, until this point where Gwen decided to go to the mid lane to take tower platings. She just gave me a bunch of free farm and tower platings, which got me back into the game as well. Because of how soon I dropped the top lane, the mid game has sped up. We're already deep into this mid game and hunting as a team. So here we are. Galio's trying to rotate between bot and mid, but we have the numbers in his jungle, and I managed to get a 700 gold shutdown, which is huge. Out of nowhere, I'm quite fed too. The problem is, it doesn't matter how fed I get, I'm never going to be able to 1v1 Gwen. I'm not sure if anyone saw that, but look at the hesitation on the goddamn Talon. He's a Fizz one-trick, so I get why he's afraid. He doesn't, comprehend his champion, but I've CC'd her for so goddamn long, man. Just go in. After securing the kill, we rotated to the objective, which was the Drake. Gwen respawns and immediately teleports in. This is going to be a major team fight that determines who takes control of this game. Fortunately, the ADC didn't get taken down by the Gwen, which gave us an opportunity to kill her and collect the objective. Despite winning the team fight, things aren't fully in our favor yet. The scoreline is still dead on, 14-14, and our ADC gets caught. He's got no summoner spells from the last team fight. All things considered, this went about as good as we could have hoped for. We pushed them off the Baron and didn't necessarily lose too much. Yeah, we died, but they couldn't force the Baron. After respawning, we rushed straight to the Baron pit. Now it gets kind of interesting because we have the positional advantage on the enemy team. We're around the Baron and they have their strongest player, the Gwen, split pushing against arguably our weakest. This Talon, he's not confident on the champion, so if we can trade him for the Gwen, that's a really good thing. The team fight breaks out and Gwen's able to teleport in. I'm not sure why the Talon didn't try and damage her while she was teleporting. I'm going to assume that he just lost sight on the Gwen when he should have been keeping track of it. Either way, we get very lucky and end up winning this team fight 4v5. This allows us to secure the Baron and then immediately charge straight down the mid lane. Gwen's trying to side split, which she definitely shouldn't do. Her only option is to all-in kill me, and even if she did achieve that, she can't really do anything after that. She'd have to recall. I immediately run away. I know I can't match her ultimate, and from here, all I have to do is stop her recall. She's got no teleport, right? She used it before, so at this point, the game is over, assuming our team can push through with that Baron, which I was confident they could. 460 LP, and we end up getting promoted to Grandmaster. We did it, first season as support, and we are Grandmaster.
Y'all ain't on this level, bitches, Tilterella.